Hey everybody, and welcome back to this $1,400 stimulus check update and third stimulus package update. There's negotiations going on and time is of the essence, at least according to Joe Biden. Does that mean we're actually going to see stimulus checks quicker, or is it going to be end of March or April like some people are now predicting? Hey everybody, my name is Randy and welcome to the Late Night Grind, a new YouTube channel that I started covering these stimulus package updates because it's of great interest to me. So if you're new to the channel, I would ask you to consider subscribing, and also the best thing that you can do to help out this YouTube channel is smashing that thumbs up button. If you would do that, I would greatly appreciate it. All right, well, let's get into it. So Joe Biden's way of kind of negotiating this stimulus plan between Democrats and Republicans is to get them together and to talk about it, at least virtually, as pretty much everybody's doing now. A couple of days ago, there was actually a phone call with 8 Democrats, 8 Republicans, where he laid out the plan, answered some questions on it, and what he was looking for was some points that maybe there were some modifications that they could make to help this thing pass quicker. It sounded like from some people that were actually on that call that it was more like, no, you're just going to agree with what the Democrats want, and that's what we're going to go with. However, as time has been going on here, and the calls for negotiations have been a little bit stronger, not just from Republicans, but even progressive Democrats. Because some progressive Democrats continue to push for the $2,000 stimulus checks, not for the $1,400 plus up that is in Joe Biden's plan. And now on top of it, looking at the $15 minimum wage increase that he had put into the plan, of course, you're going to get the pushback from Republicans, but there's actually been a couple of Democratic holdouts that are not for at least that part of the stimulus plan. So without getting into too much major of details, it's basically they want to increase the federal $15 per hour minimum wage, which means that's the lowest that the states can actually mandate for a minimum wage. I believe right now there are actually 17 states that already have $15 minimum wage and a whole slew of cities that already have it, as well as a bunch of counties. And what this would entail is basically a transition. It would probably be a several year transition to go from where it is now up to to when it reaches the $15. In fact, many of the states that have it now, they're not actually at the $15 minimum wage, but they're slowly increasing toward it. For instance, some actually passed that mandate that they would increase to $15 an hour minimum wage back in 2015, and they enacted a 10-year plan that from 2015 to 2025, they would basically slowly scale up until they hit the $15 an hour minimum wage. Of course, the Republicans are not for it because studies have shown that it can create some job stagnation. In fact, some of the numbers from the cities that have enacted it already, the reports are, especially from service and hospitality industry, up to 77% of these small businesses actually had to either cut hours or even lay people off once that was enacted. And Democrats, most of them are for it because what it will do, their estimates are that it will raise an additional 4 million people out of poverty. And then on the other side of it is some reports that say that it will also put approximately 1.3 to 1.5 million people out of jobs. And the ones that are not laying off have said that they haven't laid off workers, but they have increased the costs of their service or goods. And that's kind of how you get the microinflation effect, which is why some people are against it. Bernie Sanders has said, well, we're just going to put this through the Budget Reconciliation Act, and there's not much Republicans can do about it. And he's right, if all the Democrats are for that. As of right now, there are still 1 or 2 that are said to have been giving them trouble specifically on that issue and specifically about the size of the stimulus checks. In fact, Joe Manchin and a couple of others said they still want this bill to be even more targeted. So they've been talking with Joe Biden, and Joe Biden has said he is open to negotiation in terms of the size of the stimulus check, but also the income qualifications as to who would actually get it. In other words, the income limits for how much you make could be coming down so that it proportionally helps out those who make less money overall. But the one thing we heard timing-wise is that Joe Biden said he's not necessarily interested in the numbers aspect of it, as it is more of a time issue right now. The faster that he wants to get this out, the better. So if you're looking for the stimulus check as quick as possible, then that would be a good thing, that Joe Biden doesn't want to draw this out. He's more open to compromises, and that's going to speed things up. So we'll see if that actually comes through. I actually heard today that they are still drafting up some of these items to be negotiated. However, Nancy Pelosi said a couple of days ago that, well, everything's been written up and it's ready to be voted on. My guess is that some of these items will be just kind of changed and tweaked in the plan before they actually take it to a vote. In any case, I appreciate you watching this video, guys. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and I will see you guys on the next video.